It's all cleaned off. Jeez, that's dirty. All right, what is up? This is the simple way to get in shape without making fitness your job. I made this video for the man who's looking to build an attractive physique without living his life like a robot. I include this picture right here of myself, not just to show that, I'm in shape, I look good and whatnot. I've got the attractive physique that I always preach, but also because this photo wasn't taken after a perfect workout and, like dehydrating myself and whatnot. This was taken after 3 to 4 hours of sleep and getting blackout drunk. Stuff that people say is not possible to do and still stay in shape. You might have thought like, oh, you would get like super fat or bloated or whatnot, but no, that was my physique after a night out of drinking and 3 to 4 hours of sleep. And while that obviously doesn't happen every single night, it's a once in like a couple months or even like once in like a couple once or twice a year kind of thing. It doesn't happen very often. But my whole point of this video, the whole goal is to show you that there's these myths out here that I want to go over that aren't true, that you can, and not only myself, but my clients showcase this lifestyle too, where they can get in shape without making fitness their entire lives. So you can too, is my whole goal, is to prove that. First off, let's go over the fitness myths. Go to the gym 5 to 7 days a week, push-pull legs, track your food and macros daily, bring the scale on vacation, no desserts, carnivore, keto, veganism, blah, 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 blah. All of this noise is great if you're a bodybuilder who's making this their entire lifestyle. Like when you're being judged up on stage by a bunch of other dudes and you're putting needles up your ass, yeah, I would probably want to live a more extreme lifestyle too, because I want to make sure I'm getting the best out of my performance. But you aren't a performance-based athlete in the gym. It's like comparing a marathon runner who's doing like 100 plus miles for like 5 to 7 days a week of running compared to you who may just be running for fun, just like that, because it feels good mentally or maybe physically. It's like a whole different ball game. And to think that you had to train like a bodybuilder is, it's stupid, because for one, this physique isn't attractive objectively to women. There's 2 types of lifting, which I go over in another video, called the male gaze and the female gaze. The male gaze is like this, like the bodybuilders see bum, get as big as possible. And while men may find it respectable and attractive and whatnot, women are gonna be intimidated by that, because having a physique, it should reflect your discipline. It should reflect that you can lead your own life, go to the gym and stay committed to something long enough to have results, as it shows that you are a leader of yourself, which means you can lead them. It's overdoing it. And it looks like that you can't have any fun. Your whole life is living like an extremist, like robot. Girls don't want that. What they want is closer to your goals. You want to build a physique that women lust after, like the Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars physique, the Brad Pitt from Fight Club, where you're lean, you've obviously got muscles, you're obviously in shape, but you don't look like that you train for a living, because girls don't want that. They don't want this boring robot version of you. They want the version of you who is fun, who loves them, who has time to spend with them and have going fun dates, who's masculine and has the physique that reflects discipline rather than obsession, right? So, she wants you, of course she wants you to obsess over a mission, right? But the mission shouldn't be going to the gym every single day. That's stupid, right? Your mission should be, the work that you do, the purpose, what gives you fulfillment in life. And the gym just isn't going to cut it. The reason why girls go for these bodybuilders on social media, you may see them in the thumbnails, oh, I'm hitting on Sarah Safari or whatnot. It's due to them having status, right? Women chase after status. And they have the status. They have the social media following and clout and whatnot. It isn't because they're as big as possible. In fact, if they had the status and they look like these guys, they would have a much better, success rate and chances of getting more girls that way, or getting the girl that they want. Your goal is also to spend minimal time in the gym while achieving these desired results. The goal isn't to go to the gym daily and to spend hours and hours at a workout, because let's be honest, it's just not going to be you're not going to be able to be consistent with that. It's harder to be consistent with that versus going to the gym 2 to 4 times a week for 45 to 60 minutes and yielding the same, if not better, which it usually is better, results. You want to be able to enjoy food on vacation, be able to drink, have desserts with your boys and go out and whatnot every now and then and not have to worry about that. You're not here to be a robot. You're not here to be competing and whatnot. You're here to make fitness part of your life, a priority, but not a job overall. And that is entirely possible. Because life wasn't meant to be wasn't meant to be spent like a robot, right? There's this quote that fits this perfectly. It's, "The man who likes walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination." If you like your plan, if it works with your life, it's going to be so much easier to get more consistent with it, right? Like you can probably agree with me right now that if you were given 3 days a week in the gym for like 45, 60-minute sessions, which are like fast, intense, heavy, but you feel good after, not like super tired, that it's going to be a lot more manageable than, let's say you just got off like your 9 to 5 job and you're doing like 6 days a week of lifting. Like you're going to dread that, doing like these like 2 to 3 hour bodybuilding workouts that you're probably less likely to do them. So when you have like structure and like a workout plan that works with you, you're going to be able to progress faster and enjoy the whole process, which is at the end of the day what we want. You should be able to enjoy your life, still have the discipline, still show up, and still put in the work, of course. I'm not saying you can't, that you're just going to build the body out of nothing. Like it's still going to require your inputs of going to the gym and putting in the work and getting better and whatnot. But you should be able to enjoy the process to some extent at the same time, because we're not here to, compete. And if you have a plan that works with you, you'll be more consistent is the whole overarching idea. And you want to think about decades over months. We're not here to have this crazy like workout plan that only we can stick to for like 1, 2, 3 months maximum. Like sure, we may be able to see some progress. Our bodies maybe should be able to shape at some point. But if we can't see ourselves doing this for decades, realistically, then it's not a plan that's going to work. We want to be like that jacked 60, 70-year-old on the beach who's got all the success in the world. He's good with girls, he's good with money and whatnot, or good with one girl. Like my goal is to be better with like one girl, like marry her and stuff like that, be a good father. And okay, that's besides the point. But you don't want to be the guy who goes to the gym and sees some progress but loses it all, because that is the worst feeling ever, is to build it up just for it to come all crashing down again. So when you think in decades rather than months, then you're gonna be able to keep the results that you built. And at the end of the day, that's what you want as a man, is to keep those results. And overall, your physique can be built without the extreme restriction as shown in like the fitness myths. If you haven't guessed it already, you don't need 5 to 7 days a week in the gym. You don't need 2+ hour long sessions. You can effectively pack on muscle through like 2 to 4 days of lifting for like hour-long max workouts. Now, discipline, of course, again, it's still required. You still need the inputs to match the outputs. Like you can't just you can't just write down the plan and not actually do it. You still have to do it, but it's gonna be a lot simpler. Like building your dream physique and attractive body is so simple, it's insane. As long as you have a couple brain cells, you can like stick to a plan that's made for you and fits with your life, and just do it consistently over time and be patient with it. You're gonna be able to get the results that you want. And these pictures here, I'm someone who likes to travel, going to Disneyland with my girlfriend, going out to like nice fancy restaurants, drinking some beers, going on flights, and every now and then. I don't bring food scales on my vacation. I think that's stupid. I think that, of course, if you're a bodybuilder, if you're someone who's more focused on, if you're focused on like performance, then yes, that would be necessary. Like with running, like I'm a runner, I'm all into like performance and stuff like that. I do have to ensure that, I'm eating enough and stuff like that, but I don't track every single macro and calorie like the end of the world. So you gotta find out what's the priority to you. If it's not bodybuilding, you can like chill, right? And I'll go over some guidelines as to like what your nutrition, your training should look like in a second here. But first off, I want to talk about my client, Rain. To prove that it's not just me, in case you're still doubting whether or not this works, this is my client, Rain. And he's had all the issues that you can think of when he came to me. He's been in and out of the gym for 5 years, right? 5 years, thinking that fitness had to be overcomplicated, that he tried all these different splits and workouts, and he still was like, still like skinny. He didn't think he could actually make progress. On top of that, he's working 12-hour shifts and only has 3 days a week to train, and gastritis, which makes eating hard. And just overall, he just felt stuck. But once we built him a system that worked with his life, with short, effective workouts that lasted 45 to 60 minutes maximum, a simple split, since he can only train Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I put him on upper, lower, and full body. So he's hitting all his muscle groups twice a week, which we'll go over that more in a second as to why that's important. We use food tracking as a tool and not obsession, because he was under eating severely. He's eating like 1,000 calories a day. So by building up awareness, he realized, oh shoot, it's not because I have a fast metabolism or anything like that, or my gastritis. Like, of course it's part of it, but it's because I'm just severely under eating right now. I'm not getting enough protein. Of course my body looks like the way it does. And even with all of these struggles, Rain did the unthinkable in 4 weeks. He went through a body recomp where obviously the back starting to like protrude more muscle, his triceps are popping out more. We found foods that he can comfortably digest too, getting closer to his calorie and protein goals by the day. So like while his weight didn't go up or down, he maintained his weight as we found him foods that he can more comfortably digest with his gastritis, that he can start to eat and start to get closer to his calorie and protein goals. And on top of all of that, he developed what he didn't think was possible, which was self-leadership through consistency and going to the gym, doing his morning and night routines, and just finding more structure throughout his life. And now he's living life with more energy. We're not perfect yet. It's only been 4 weeks, but throughout our program, I just can't wait to see what his next 5 months will look like for him, because fitness became something that he can stick to. And how do we get here? How do we get to where me and Rain got to? First, 3 pillars: finding the right routine, time efficient yet effective workouts, and meal guidelines. Notice how I didn't say no meal plan. I don't believe in meal plans. Meal plans are for fitness coaches who don't know what they're talking about, thinking like that people are going to stick to it, right? No. Meal plans have like 100 different habits that the clients need to stick to. And it's just not really going to be something that you can really stick to, especially in the beginning. It's a lot easier, a lot more manageable to have meal guidelines versus the meal plan. First off, determine what works with you. Everyone says that there's like this magic split out there. They think like push-pull legs or like the Arnold split or full body, upper lower, like like the stuff that I preach, people claim is like gospel. It's like perfect and whatnot. But in reality, any split that hits your muscle groups at least twice a week is effective. But the only question, like what determines it, if whether or not is it actually effective for you. A 6-day per week split for like push-pull legs, something like that, it's not going to work for you if you don't like working out 6 days a week, or you just can't. If you're busy like Rain, working 12-hour shifts, like for like 4 days on and 3 days off, it's gonna be extremely hard to do that. You only have so much time left in the day after that, so much energy, that going to the gym for like 6 days a week is not gonna be like manageable. And if you miss a day too, you're gonna miss out on a day where you're doing like let's say for push-pull legs. If you miss one leg day, you're only hitting legs once a week. So you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. If you have all the time in the world, if you like going to the gym 6 days a week, perfect, go ahead. I'm not stopping you. But it's gonna be so much easier to be consistent when you're going for like a 2 to 4 day split. So that's exactly why that's my recommendation, because again, decades over months. You want to think about like can you stick to this plan for like almost like the rest of your life? Like, of course you can make changes here and there, but like realistically, if you can't do that, then that's not the plan for you. If you do 2 to 3 days a week, I recommend the full body split. Now, if you're Rain and you have like 3 consecutive days that you can work out, I would do upper, lower, full. Now, if you're doing 2 consecutive days together, I would just do upper, lower. Like of course, hitting your muscle groups twice a week is going to be important, but like doing 2 full body workouts back to back, that's going to be like pretty like what do you call it? It's gonna be pretty like tiring to feel. So it wouldn't be quote unquote optimal, but just doing something is better than nothing. So always try to do something rather than nothing, even if it's like 2 consecutive days. Make something work, make it happen. 4 days, I recommend upper lower. So like Monday, Tuesday, rest Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So upper lower, rest, upper lower, or like if you could probably do like consecutive days too, like upper lower. Just play around with it. And like with Rain, we changed up the schedule too. Like it doesn't have to be these 2 splits, but like generally that's what I recommend my clients to do. And if you think by now, you think that you're too busy, I just highly recommend time blocking out your calendar, like I had Rain do for me, where he's got, these green lines here represent his work, like the red, it's like his like habits that he wants to do in the morning, his morning routine. Orange, like his like night routine. The yellow, he's like, okay, those are the times I want to work out. When you time block things out, you realize how many empty pockets of time that you have. Write down exactly what you do from the time that you wake up to the time you go to bed, and you're gonna find so many different empty pockets of time that you can utilize, right? Especially now, knowing that that you need is 2 to 4 days a week in the gym for like 60-minute max sessions. You definitely have time to work out, no matter what your work schedule is. And if you want something bad enough, you will find time to make it work, right? If it's a priority, you're gonna find time to like think about like if you have like an essay or like a job deadline due within like the first day, like within like the next 24 hours. If you had to complete that deadline, like within that, or else you get like fired or some sort of like other something that like bad happens to you, like you're gonna find a way around it. So that's what you have to do with when it comes to your fitness. You have to get resourceful. If you want to build a dream physique, it's never going to be easy, but it's simple. You just got to get resourceful. Time efficient workouts. If there's one thing you can take away from this, it's that more doesn't mean better, right? Bodybuilders, they can do high volume and frequency training because they need to keep making progress. You know, they probably started off with like 2 to 3 set workouts, and now they're doing like 5 sets after like years of training and being on gear and stuff like that. They had to squeeze every single ounce of progress out of them. But again, this isn't necessary, right? We want to go from like as minimal work as possible to get like the maximum results out of it. You know, going for like the high leverage tasks and doing all these sets and like reps and all that stuff. All that volume is just gonna make you more fatigued, probably kill your gains more than anything. So really, you don't really need that much as bodybuilders because they're way ahead of you in the gym right now. Or even if they're not, maybe they've been lifting about the same time as you. They're on steroids, they're on gear, they're not natural. So you gotta lift like a natural. And you don't wanna avoid, and you don't wanna spend hours in the gym. And to avoid doing so, there's 4 things that you can do. The first one is to prioritize your 6 compound lifts in the abs. Compound lifts, you may know them, if not, they target multiple muscle groups. So if you think about like bicep curls and like tricep extensions, stuff like that, they target minimal muscle groups, like one muscle group. Like the bicep curls is like your biceps, tricep extensions, your triceps, and et cetera, et cetera. Compound movements like the squat that targets like your quads, your glutes, a little bit of your hamstrings, like the bench press, your like triceps, your shoulders, and your chest muscles. So it targets multiple muscle groups at once, meaning that you can hit them. You're gonna like maximize efficiency instead of having to do like a chest exercise and then like a bunch of variations of those, and then like a tricep exercise. You can hit multiple muscle groups in one. And if you target these 6 ones specifically, you'll hit all the muscles in your body. Do a squat, any sort of variation, a front squat, back squat. Personally, I like the Zercher squats, and I do those once or twice a week. Maybe I'll throw in like a lunge here and there too to get some more like leg volume. Deadlifts. Do a deadlift variation. So I do a normal one in a single-legged RDL. Bench press, I'll do a barbell bench press, like a flat one, and then a incline bench press. Overhead press, so like anything that's like, you know, like a dumbbell, like a barbell, like you're raising above your head, you target the shoulders. Row, you know, you're pulling it, like you're using like your back muscles, your pull muscles. Dumbbell, barbell, whatever. Pull up or chin up or lat pull down or like a mix. I personally do pull-ups and chin-ups. If you can't do those, start with lat pull downs and at least try to get the pull-ups and chin-ups because they're fun to do. But like that, you don't have to do them, but I personally enjoy them. And then finally for your abs, leg or knee raises plus planks. Like abs are revealed in the kitchen, but they're made in the gym. So like your leg and knee raises, they'll target like your lower abs, make them pop out more. Your planks targets like your total abs. So you're able to like flex them more, squeeze them more, helps out in your lifts too. Works out your posture, just do them. But don't make it super overcomplicated. Hit these like twice a week, like do 2 squats or 1 squat, 1 lunge like I do. Do 2 variations of deadlifts, two like bench presses, 2 flats, 1 flat, 1 incline, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just play around with it. As long as you get these movements all done twice a week, you will build a body that or you're gonna build up like a aesthetic, attractive physique where nothing's lagging behind. And if there are any weak points, like for me, my arms, you can throw in some like isolations at the end. But for now, just start off with the compound movements because they make 80% of the results that you make, probably even more. And isolations, at least 20%, if not less. So when you focus on getting stronger at the compound movements over time, you will build muscle and do the majority of the work, right? We want to focus on the 80-20 rule, getting 80% of the results, doing the stuff that gets like you 80% of the results rather than like wasting time on like trying to chase like the extra like couple percentages, right? Like we're not bodybuilders. We're trying to build that physique, but not make the gym our entire life, right? Still like travel, still be able to be with our family and whatnot, live that balanced life that we want, to get in and out of the gym. Number two, pillar number two is rest times. You want to use a stopwatch to avoid wasting time. If you have an iPhone, you definitely have one. I'm not sure about Android, or if you have a watch, you can use that as well, or just look at the clock at the gym. Just find ways to use a stopwatch. The compound movements rest like 3 to 5 minutes in between each. Isolations 1 to 2. Now you're probably thinking like, oh man, I'm not trying to do like a bench press and rest 3 minutes between our sets and then do my squat and whatnot. You don't have to. You can do what's called supersets, which is the third pillar, where you're going to combine 2 of the workouts to avoid sitting around for too long. So for example, for the compound movements, you would do like a bench press, rest like 90 seconds, and then squat. That would be about like 3 minutes right here, doing like a minute or so like bench press and like another 90 seconds of squat. And then you squat, and then you rest 90 seconds, and just repeat, repeat, repeat. That's for like the isolations, but then for compound movements. And then for the isolations, you would do something like the first isolation, like a cable curl, and then no rest, and go straight into like the tricep push down, and the rest 60 seconds and repeat. Because like the cable curl, that's probably gonna take you about like 30, 60 seconds, which is plenty of rest. When you're doing things like the compound movements where you're targeting multiple muscle groups at once, you need more rest because your body gets more fatigued faster versus when you're doing something like a bicep curl, which doesn't really fatigue you as much. Plus, the risk of injury gets lower. You're not like doing things way too much too fast. So giving your body plenty of rest in between sets is imperative. But without wasting time, superset things up. And last but not least, pillar number 4, volume. You want to start with 2 sets for every single exercise. Progress to 3 only if you aren't making progress after like 2 weeks. So let's say you're just starting out like your fitness journey and you're doing 2 sets of every single exercise. And you get to the point where you're a couple months in, it's like you're starting to plateau a bit, and after like 2 weeks, you just can't move up in like the weight or the reps. Then add in a 3rd set and keep it there. I don't know why everyone wants to like go for like more volume in the beginning and do more than they have to when they really don't, right? When you're a beginner, when you're starting out, or if you're just inconsistent and you're now having a more structured plan, start with 2 sets and just focus on your progressive overload. So progressive overload, I made an example right here. This is my actual Monday training session right here. So as you can see here, on week 1, I started off with 185 for 3 sets of 6. In week 2, I decided, okay, I could probably go up by like 10 pounds, and I got 3 sets of 5. Now the goal for next time is 195 for 3 sets of 6, and so on and so forth. You stay within like a rep range. So for me, that was like 4 to 6, and then for this one, it's like 6 to 8, and so on and so forth. And you either progress by 1 rep or like 5-10 pounds and put that into your lifts. As long as you're progressing in your strength, you should be building muscle, which should be the focus. Like progressive overload, it's something that I've really got into like this past like month. Like of course I've been doing it like throughout, but it's very like loosely tracking. Now when I go to the gym, since I'm only going to the gym like 3 times a week, I'm now noticed that I have to be locked in. Like I haven't been making progress this past like year or so. It's been like very like standoffish. I look back at my old videos and like I'm still deadlifting like 300, like 25, 335, and it's like this can't be. So now getting heavily into lifting, like progressively overloading and tracking everything, I'm seeing a lot more progress, not only on my list, but like my muscle as well. It's starting to get like more like thicker, denser, and I'm just enjoying the gym because as men, we need to progress. Like that's what pushes us. And like when the gym feels boring, it's usually due to us not making progress. So, there's gonna be a point in time when your newbie gains go off, or like if you're already past that point like me, that you're not making as much gains in the gym. If those numbers keep going up, like your bench press, your squats and all that stuff, it gets more fun, right? Because you're still seeing progress somehow and you know that you're making gains. It doesn't feel like you're wasting your time. So that's like the number 1 metric I would look at for building like your dream physique, is making sure that those numbers are going up, whether it's by 1 rep or 5-10 pounds. And speaking of reps, you want to stay in like the 4 to 12 rep range. 4 to 6, I usually do for like my first 2 combat exercises, like as you can see right here. These are like the ones I want to get like stronger and better at. And then for like the 6 to 8 for like the other compounds, like that one right there. And this day I only have like 1 compound. Other days I may have like 2 more, 3 more. And then for like your isolation ones, you want to do like 8 to 12. So like here I do like 10 to 12, 10 to 12 right there. Sometimes they'll go down to 8, but in this block I decided to go for 10 to 12 just to get those extra pumps in. So that's how you structurize a training plan without wasting time. Now when it comes to cardio, do you need to do it? Just do it, right? I mean, it's not going to be like the make or break for your physique if your diet is in check, which we're going to go over right after this. But on days when you don't lift, just break a sweat for like 15 plus minutes. Walking, biking, running, swimming, it doesn't really matter, right? As you can see here, I've done it all. Here's me like training for like my triathlon. I did like a half Ironman last May. Here's me on a run with my friend right there, and me in the pool. Hate swimming, only did it because it was necessary, so I usually just stick to like running. And biking in my area, there's like so much glass on the road that I just don't bike as much as I used to. So mostly like running and incline treadmill walking is what I do. And while, yeah, sure, it may help burn some extra calories, that's not really the focus. The focus is that when you're sweating and you're like getting like the blood pumping, you're getting like daily energy. Because when you get daily movement, that equates to daily, because daily movement equates to daily energy. You know, your energetic people expend energy, lazy people conserve. So the more that you move, the more energy you're going to feel, as long as you're fueling your body. And speaking of fueling, here are your eating guidelines. I personally don't believe in meal plans. I think that it's kind of dumb to like restrict yourself like that. You shouldn't be put onto like a chicken and rice diet. Hold on. Need a swig of water. All right, how's my voice sound? A little less smokerish, hopefully. But the whole goal here for these guidelines is to cut out as much processed food as possible. As you can see here, all my meals are pretty much whole. You know, like once a week I'll go out for like pizza. I'll go out to a restaurant here and there. But for the most part, it's mostly whole foods. And what a whole food is just, if it existed 100 years ago, like when your grandparents were young, like our age, then I guess that wouldn't even like your grandparents were probably weren't even born at that time. They're like your great grandparents, and I don't know. Then it's probably good to eat, right? It's not full of like added sugars and like all these like weird like preservatives and additives that like screw up your hormones and screw up your body and all that stuff. These are packed with like micronutrients and macronutrients that you need to fill your body with energy, like fuel your body for like building up your dream physique. So you walk around with energy, because you can go on like the dirty bulk route where you just eat everything in sight. Go to McDonald's for your calories, like the whole, oh, calories in, calories out. But if you do, you're gonna notice that your stomach's gonna start to bloat. Like it's not gonna like digest or feel as good. You're gonna be like stuck being constipated in the bathroom from not having any fiber in your diet. So just bear with me. Go for as much whole food as possible and cut out most of the processed food. I'm not saying to be perfect, because I sure as hell am not perfect. But go to your pantry, go to your fridge, try to like swap out things. Like if you mostly have French fries, have like potato wedges, get in an air fryer like I do. And as you can see like right here, some like potatoes that I throw on top of my rice bowls and like ground beef. And to maximize your macro and micronutrients, follow what I call the PCC rule. So every meal should have protein, the P. You know, fill up on this first. Like it's like the Greek yogurt, the eggs, the steak, the ground beef, and the more steak. Why not? Like Greek yogurt, steak, beef, eggs, etc., etc., etc. Carbs for the other C. White rice, sourdough, potatoes, honey, real fruit juice. You don't want that like additive crap in there that's like not even like real juice. It's just extra sugar. And finally, color. So things like fruits and vegetables. Frozen berries, frozen veggies. Those are life hacks. I get like the frozen spinach and like the frozen berries I can see right there. I put them in with my meals, and it saves me so much time. I don't have to worry about it like wilting away in my fridge, and I can just get it whenever I want to. So if you're someone who like wants to start incorporating stuff, but you don't want to go through the trouble of having everything wilt away or get all moldy, get the frozen options. But if you like the fresh stuff, you know, fresh spinach, bell pepper, etc., 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 have foods that you like, right? You don't have to choose these ones, but find foods that you like. Like my client Rain, he's going for more like leaner meats, like chicken and fish, because his body can't really tolerate fattier foods like steak and ground beef and goat and stuff like that. So try out these foods, but ultimately have foods that you like, because you know, I can tell you anything about what works for me and my clients, but every body is different, right? Everybody is different. Your body can digest foods that mine can't, and mine can do like the vice versa. So find stuff that your body can tolerate, not feel super bloated after, because you don't want to have like that heavy like stomach feeling, because you are going to have to eat if you are skinny, like to like eat to like get more, right? It was a shock for Rain at first. He was eating like 1,000 calories, and to get him up to like 1,800 was like a was a bit of like a challenge for him. So find foods that are easy on your stomach, which these ones for me are mostly the case, right? Like for me, this works, but for you, it could be different. And what's even better about this is that this works wherever you go. You could be at home in perfect conditions, in your kitchen, cooking your own meals. You could be with your parents. You could be traveling and whatnot. And this works. This picture right here was actually taken at a Japanese restaurant that I went to when I was meeting my girlfriend's parents. And I didn't have any choice like what I was cooking and whatnot. I was being cooked for. I was going out to restaurants, but at the end of the day, I still had the choice as to like what I could pick off the menu. So whenever you're traveling, try to follow the PCC rule, where you're getting protein, you're getting some sort of carbs, and you're getting like some sort of like color, like fruits and veggies. Is it going to be perfect all the time? No, it's not going to be perfect. But you know what it is going to be? It's gonna be better than you just going for like the cookies and like the super like sweet like desserts and stuff like that the entire time and neglecting on this. So as long as you follow this PCC rule when you're on traveling, when you're not just follow it anywhere, you can feel like pretty confident that you're eating enough. Now, do we need to track calories? Great question. No. However, it is going to be a useful tool if you think that you have a fast or slow metabolism and you think that's why you can't gain or lose weight. It's gonna open up your eyes to like how little or how much you're actually eating on a given day. It's gonna show like why the scale isn't going up or going down, why you're maintaining like I have periods of time when I just keep maintaining. I'm like, oh, like maybe it's my faster metabolism from running more, but it's like, nope, it's just because I wasn't eating enough on those days. So it's good for like self-awareness. And if you don't know how many calories or protein you're currently getting, just use it periodically and don't obsess about this daily. Like the whole goal isn't to obsess about your numbers. If you're like a person who likes data, like here and there, I'll like do it and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna maximize my macro and like micro and macro nutrients. Sometimes it's like cool to see, but for the most part, just follow the PCC rule. But my overall recommendation is to track your lifts, track your weights, and if those aren't going up or progressing the way you want, track your food. Check your food intake and see if it matches up. If not, just adjust from there. And what you can also do, following the PCC rule, is developing yourself some go-to meals. Like every single day in the morning, I'll have like Greek yogurt with like honey and oats and frozen berries. And then for like lunch, like my 4 eggs, 4 things of toast, and then some spinach, like the frozen one. And then dinner, sometimes it changes. Most of the time it's like some sort of like ground beef base with like rice, potatoes, and frozen broccoli. So very simple meals. You don't need to be gourmet with it. Just stick to like some like go-to meals that you can always preach for. And if not, don't worry about it. As long as most of the time that you're sticking to like pretty similar meals that get you enough calories, you probably don't need to be tracking your food. In fact, just check your weights. If it's not going the way you want it to be, adjust from there, right? And check your food intake. And that's pretty much it. That is exactly how, like the simple way to get in shape without making fitness your job. You don't need to live life like a robot. You just need to have a plan and have some structure.